Hey everyone, Rob from ProWresBlog here, www.ProWresBlog.blogspot.com. Today I'm reviewing TNA One Night Only Knockouts Knockdown. The show started off with a video package on all the girls, and all the girls came out into the ring. Brooke Hogan also came out, and she said tonight they will be having a tournament to see who is the queen of the knockouts. They showed a video of a Roxy Laveau versus Gail Kim match, where Gail won the Knockouts title and was the first ever champion. Gail looked really young here and had longer hair. Gail next talked about her accomplishments in a promo with SoCal Val, and Madison Rayne came in and wished her good luck. We next had Gail Kim versus Alyssa Flash, who was also Raisha Saeed. Alyssa dyed her hair like a blonde here, kind of brown. She looks really old with it, and yeah, not a good look. She said she was going for the gold in a promo, and even Taz said Alyssa really looks a lot different. Taz sounded really goofy here, and of course he had a absolutely awful effort all night. Alyssa hit a rough German early here, and she did a curb stomp, and Taz said, "Wow, that'll make you flat-chested real quick." She also nailed Gail with a missile drop kick. Gail won this one with a eat defeat. It wasn't bad for these girls, but the crowd was deflated and ruined it. They both looked a bit slow, and while I did like Flash's submissions and how she turned them into moves, she would do like a submission or a move and then turn it into the opposite, and I thought that was pretty cool. You don't see that much. We got replays of the Lady Tapa and Ivelisse Velez promos from TNA Impact and their gut check from years ago. There's kind of a funny note here is they actually spelled Ivelisse's name wrong. They called her Velez with an F, TNA, and that's not the only one of the night. You'll see in a second. Next up, we had Ivelisse Velez versus Lady Tapa. They also spelled Lady Tapa's name wrong. They spelled it A-L-E-I-D and then Tapa, so they added an extra A in there. Way to go, TNA. Man, this was bad. This was really bad. You're going to be seeing this one on Botchamania real soon, so keep an eye out for that. Tapa won with some kind of side slam. Velez had her from the guillotine position, was on and wrapped around her, and Tapa just dropped her. If you're wondering why Tapa won gut check and we never seen much of her, this match is definitely why. She was awkward here, she bumped really bad, and she kind of blew everything she did. It wasn't good at all, and she looked so bad here, and I would never put her on national TV again. Ivelisse, on the other hand, was great. She had probably the best performance I've ever seen for her, and she looked like a heck of a worker. She really ought to be in the WWE because she was really good. She flew everywhere. She had a lot of fire, and she had some really nice comebacks and strikes. And she added some of the submissions in, and she was just a complete wrestler here. This was a great performance by her, but this was an awful performance by Lady Tapa. We got a promo with Tara and Jessie. Tara said JB never gets Jessie's name right, and she said she was the queen of Impact Wrestling, and she didn't know who Mia Yim was. Jessie said he didn't either, but they knew who he was. We had Tara versus Mia Yim. Yim got a quick promo in saying she toured Japan. Taz, of course, had to be a jerk and called her Mia Hamm. Early on, Yim nailed a big missile dropkick, and Tara did a great flip off of it. Yim chased Tara around the ring, and Jessie pulled her leg out from getting back in. Tara hit her moonsault with her shake, and Yim stopped it with her knees. And then Yim did an Asai from the middle rope, which was pretty cool. She looked really good in that one. Near the finish, she went for a Sky Twister press, and she missed because Tara moved. And right after that, Tara got the win with the Widow's Peak. As I said, Yim looked really good here. There was too much interference, though, and there was a weird spot. Yim came off the ropes. The announcer said that Jessie tripped her, and maybe she did, but maybe he did, but I don't know. And Yim just went for the wrong side of the arm. She went for the right side, and Tara was not ready for it. She was looking to be caught on her left side, and they kind of just spun around like a ring around the rosy deal, and it was, that part blew. But up to this point, Yim looked really good. Not as good as Ivelisse, but she was probably the second best looking on the show so far. Next up, we had Brooke Tessmacher versus Santana Garrett. Tessmacher did her shake and stuff, and Garrett mixed in some submissions that I liked. She had this one armbar type of move from the abdominal stretch position, where she hooked her leg around the one arm, and I like that. Santana didn't look bad. She did some lucha spots. She did the flip into the ropes where she does a backflip off of it, and Tessmacher put up her knees. You know. So I mean, this was all the TNA of TNA here, but I thought Santana looked really good, and I'd be up for seeing more of her. ODB said she was crazy, and she mentioned fighting with Trinity before, and they showed a really long wedding angle with Eric Young and ODB. I don't want to get into it to save time, but it was just long, and it went at least 15 minutes, and by far it was the longest thing on the show. Next up, we had ODB versus Trinity. ODB won with a TKO in a really bad match. ODB just gassed out. She kind of had no more energy, and she was just kind of slugging around the ring. And this really wasn't much at all. It was over pretty quick, and Trinity got absolutely nothing in aside from a few muscle poses. So what a waste of her. I remember her doing some flying moves, and I haven't seen her in years, so it would have been cool to see her do something. But whatever. Next up, we had Taryn Terrell versus Jackie Moore. Jackie's been going for over 20 years now. You really have to give her credit. I remember when I first started watching again WCW, and she was just someone you didn't want to mess with. And I really think her angle with Kevin Sullivan was probably the best stuff she ever did in her career. Jackie won this one with the dropkick to a seated Taryn. This really bombed out. The crowd died, and these two just didn't match at all. It got off to a slow start, and it just didn't pick up in time. The heat was so bad here, you could hear individual crowd members saying stuff, so not a success. Hannah Blossom was interviewed, and she said she was motivated without her sister here. Why both sisters weren't here, something I don't know. Maybe there was an injury, I don't know. But, if you're going to have one, you might as well have both of them. Sojo did a quick promo. And she said she was back and no one was meaner, badder, or blacker. What a stupid line that was. The match was Hannah Blossom versus Sojo Bolt versus Taylor Hendricks. Taylor Hendricks threw off some things she had around her pants and threw it right in Sojo's face. And the story here was Taylor and Sojo trying to work together and beat up on Hannah. And it was kind of comedic as they'd nail each other on accident. And near the end, Sojo held Taylor up, and she ended up nailing Sojo. And then right after, Hannah hit a brogue kick and finished her off. Like I said, it was all comedy, and Taz was terrible here, man. He really buried everybody. He was calling Hannah Betty Blossom and Betty Boot Camp. And I think later on the show, he called her something else. It might have been Boot Camp Betty or Boot Camp Blossom. Either way, man, this guy was just awful. Like, I mean, it's just one dude who doesn't care, and I can't believe he still gets paid to do this. Next up, we had Velvet Sky versus Jillian Hall. Jillian did a little singing pre-match, and she sang something about no knockout can hold her down. Velvet won with the in-your face here. This just wasn't good. Jillian actually was pretty decent here, and she wasn't that far off from what she used to do in WWE back in the day. And she definitely showed the best character on the show, but they had a bunch of awkward spots, and they had one where basically Velvet caught her in the corner from the electric chair position, and I don't know, it just didn't work. She tried to roll through, Jillian landed on her, and they were stuck in the ropes, so the ref didn't do anything at all. And that was mostly it here. Not a good one. Shocking, I know. Next up, we had Mickie James versus Serena Deeb. Mickie won this one with a jumping DDT. They stalled like crazy here in the first 10 minutes. I mean, it was just all awkward smiling, and nothing happened at all. They were going with the storyline of them being friendly and then turning on each other, which they kind of did. I guess it started out okay, but it never picked up. And really, they paced this one to be a long match, and I thought it was going to be like 30 minutes, but it didn't end up going that long at all. This probably had the least amount of botches so far, but it still wasn't good. Next, we had the Queen of the Knockouts Gauntlet match with all the people who won their matches earlier. It was basically just a battle royal, and when there were two people left, they could pin each other. I don't want to get too far into this because this one wasn't good either. You know, it was just boring. I hate gauntlet matches. I never want to see one again, unless it's Tournament or TTP. Those are fine, but I've seen 2 of these now in a week in TNA, and it's too much. Just really awful. Yeah, this whole thing was crap. Gail faked an injury near the end. A doctor came to help her, and she rolled up Mickey for the win. This was slow, it had no heat, and nothing of note whatsoever. I never want to see a gauntlet match ever again, and I hope I never do. And after the match, Madison Rayne came out and gave Gail a crown, and Gail wore the crown and posed to end the show. Kind of reminded me a lot of Glow back in the day, because Glow had the Glow crown, and that was their title. And this was pretty similar to that. And, yeah, I mean, Gail even posed the same way Tina Ferrari did when she won it. But whatever. Alright, overall thoughts. Hey, you know, all the girls tried here. They did try, but they couldn't deliver, you know. I mean, they gave it their best effort, and their best effort's really awful. That's all I can say. I mean, the whole show is a bad idea. We knew it. Everyone knew this was going to be bad, and it was bad. Just wasn't good at all. None of the matches were good. There were botches up and down, no heat, and just total disaster of a show. Most of these girls just aren't on a respectable wrestling level, and they're absolutely decades behind the Japanese women in the ring, and pretty sad if you compare the two. Ivelisse Velez was the star of the show, and definitely the MVP, so of course she lost. Also, the longest thing on the show was a wedding segment from 3 years ago. So, overall, just not a good one here. I don't recommend it, and it could have been worse, but it just wasn't good. Alright, thank you everyone. Once again, this is Rob from ProWresBlog, www.ProWresBlog.blogspot.com. Stay tuned to my website. It should be probably tomorrow. We're going to do WWE Superstars and Ring of Honor. So, stay tuned, and thanks for listening.